Have you ever sat in a meeting, smiled, nodded, and internally already knew this was the whole thing was going to land on your desk? मतलब घुमा फिरा के आपके पास ही आने वाला है.
Many times.
So, first sentence is we need to de-risk the risk. Is it real or is it made up?
It's kind of made up.
I mean, what do you feel about fraud? I mean, did it exist in volumes earlier or is it something which exists on more, I think, wrong extent now?
Earlier, it was like, majorly the things were not that technical or something like that. So there was a pure case of, customer fraud or something in that sort.
Describe the face you make when someone says it's a low risk and you absolutely know it isn't. With your actual face, you can answer, demonstrate, or whatever. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast, Hustle and Humor by PaySprint. I'm your host, Hansika, and my guest today has spent 23 years in Fintech. That's right, 23 years of navigating payments, fraud, compliance, and risk long before Fintech became the buzzword that it is today. He's the person that everybody calls when things get complicated, the voice of calm during a crisis, and someone who has also played a key role in strengthening PaySprint's risk and compliance framework, contributing to PCI DSS and ISO certification journey. He is our risk head, one and only Aaditya Tilve. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, hi.
So, how are you feeling?
Good. A bit nervous, a bit excited as well, because this is something that is very new for me. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay. All right, sir. So, let's get started. Okay. So, first things first, how does it feel to be the person that everybody calls in crisis?
So basically it's a big responsibility as such, and over the years there have been ups and downs, and work that we have to do it very responsibility, and it is a bit sometimes it's a bit hectic, or but that's something that I have learned over by my past experiences, and it's going on. It's that way.
Yeah. Kudos to the learning. It's a long journey and it goes on every day. All right. So, for people listening who have no idea of what a risk head actually does on a Tuesday afternoon, how would you describe your job?
So it's basically the day to day is basically we have to look at the risks or the pain points in a payment industry. There are a lot of things which are there from a regulatory framework, from the banking or the partners whom we are catering to, right? So ensuring that those things are in place, getting a proper risk checks done day to day, managing all those things on a single stretch. So that is more or less from the risk side of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much a lot of it, which people I think would know now. There's a very few people talk about in terms of risk. All right. So you've been in the industry for 23 years now. And in simple terms, what is the biggest way fraud has changed from when you started and how is it now?
So when I started, I started my career in like 2000. So that time it was like everything was just starting off. So basically, even something like a risk kind of a thing or a fraud kind of a thing, there was a lot of basic kind of things that were happening right now. Over a period of time, yes, there have been a lot of changes, or a lot of can say technology that has come into place, right? And given the number of payment options, or those things have also increased, right? So there are people who are finding ways to tamper that particular thing, and try to get out of that, and try to do frauds. So that's how it is.
Makes sense. I mean, what do you feel about fraud? I mean, did it exist in volumes earlier or is it something which exists on more, I think, wrong extent now?
So, see, earlier it was like, majorly the things were not that technical or something like that. So there was a pure case of customer fraud or something in that sort. Currently, since the technology has improved a lot, okay, so if you are increasing the security side of it or the compliance side of it, definitely there would be certain things that would be increasing on the fraud side of it as well, right? So cyber fraud is there and all those things. So basically, initially it would be like the numbers were lesser or individual frauds that we were doing. Here they are just actually doing it via technical solutioning, wherein they would be doing it on a multiple basis in a fraction of a second kind of a thing. So that's what has changed, that I mentioned.
Also, I see that nowadays fraudsters are trying various, I think, tricks to bypass these, I think, checks and technological systems. So, what is your opinion on that? How is, I think, being compliant for organizations in this era equally important?
So see, being compliant is basically like a need of the hour right now. The reason being that the regulatory bodies have been so strong that you can't carry out a legit business without being compliant or without having those kind of certifications across, as a company, right? That is one part of the story. The other part is definitely, at any given point of time, safeguarding your company interest as well. So when you're working with these partners, since these are majorly like banks and other regulated entities, so the liability is always on you at any given point of time. If you are looking at it, it's basically like you are safeguarding yourselves rather than you are actually following that compliance. So basically that is a part and parcel of your daily life, kind of.
So, during initial years of your career, was there something that inspired you to be a part of the risk and compliance team, or has it been? Is there a story behind it, and any fun anecdote or something of that sort, which I mean inspired you to be in this position, or something of that inspiration, for instance?
So basically, I got a job in CCW, and uh, I was totally a fresher. So I know my first day in job, probably I was doing a marketing articles. Yeah, I was doing that. And because basically they had just launched their product and they were actually trying to market it and try to get the merchants via marketing channel. That's where exactly I knew what marketing starts or something like that. From there on, once the merchant started coming, so I was just actually taken into the reconciliation or the operational side of the story as well. So operation, as a whole has there are parts to it. There is like pre onboarding, post onboarding. There is, even in the post onboarding, there is something which has been like the reconciliation and settlement part, right? So initial days, I have actually managed all those things, but over a period of time, I found more, or I got that interest more into the banking side and the risk and compliance side of the business, and that's how I actually started off my journey in being into the risk or a compliance side. So initially, I had a designation as a manager risk, right? I mean, at that point of time, honestly, it's like, यार, मैनेजर ऑपरेशंस होता है, मैनेजर सेल्स होता है, मैनेजर रिस्क क्या होता है, मीन्स इवन इट वाज अ बिट लाइक क्या है ये. But today when I sit out here, so I know that कि like means that was a something that was actually happening at a background, and I was getting that opportunity to drive that entire piece. That's how it is.
Good to know your journey so far. So, okay. So now we'll change the questions. We'll move on to the situational questions. So, the first one is, it's Friday, 6 p.m. You're about to leave. And then you get a message something weird is happening with merchants' transactions. Do you stay or do you trust the team and go home?
See, it's so the answer out here would be that I do trust my team. Yes, definitely. But at the same time, I do like to stay with my team, so that they feel motivated about it. At the same time, if there are any inputs or anything that they require from my side, I should be readily available. But yes, definitely, it's not that I don't trust my team. But yes, definitely, I would like to be a part of the entire thing.
That's a very good answer. So, have you ever had a gut feeling about something, no real data to back it up, and acted on it? So, what was your call?
Right now it's basically risk and all those things are backed up by data. In the earlier instances when there was even today, but earlier instances were more wherein there was no technology or something, everything was manual and stuff like that. And that time there were scenarios wherein you have to follow your gut feeling, because basically what happens is you are in that particular room every day in and out, and you know the kind of behavior of the merchants as well, right? So that's how it is. Means yes, definitely I will not count out gut feeling. Gut feeling plays a very important role in when you're looking at the risk side of the story. But uh, today it's basically thanks to technology that we are able to back it up with certain data as well. So that's how.
Things from manual to automated, and now that they operate in a very regulated environment. So, I mean, you've seen quite the journey in terms of risk, compliance, and fraud. So, is there any fun fraud story that you may have, I think, caught or read about or something of that sort?
In my initial days in CC Avenue itself, when I was actually managing the entire risk side of the story. So at that point of time, there were a couple of merchants wherein we had a big fraud, and at that age, when you see the numbers, okay, so you feel कि like यार ये कैसे निकल गया, अभी मैं क्या करूँगा types, bit it is. So we actually tracked, we actually kept communicating with that merchant on emails, and we tried to communicate it as such ki like you come, you have a conversation with us, because we had stopped the settlements for a certain point of time because we had been receiving a lot of disputes on that, right? So it so happened that both the merchants were being managed by a single person, because when he sent across the emails, and this was actually initially I thought of it again, risk ka gut feeling, but no data to back. So that particular email was there, and so basically we somehow convinced that guy to come to our office. We caught him, and there is a very beautiful story about that. Ki like that person was a very good IT professional, okay, and later on, I guess, as the best of my knowledge, we never took any action on him. We just asked them to, compensate whatever losses were there.
Did he
But
accept it?
he had to. And the beautiful part is today when so he's still in touch with me, and today he's a very different person altogether. So he's basically actually serving certain companies to certain certified kind of a auditors kind of a thing, wherein they audit your systems, because he was having that kind of a knowledge. So hota hai yaar, means sometimes uh, your brain goes something, and after a while, like after 4 to 5 years, when you meet the same person, he's at a different story altogether. So that's how.
Wow, that's really interesting to know. I mean, see somebody shift from what he was to what he is now. So, I mean, yeah, that's something that I've heard for the first time ever. Okay, so let me change the direction of the questions now, and we'll have a fun question type situations. So this game is all about real things said in a meeting, or did I make it up? This is the title of it. So I'm going to read you sentences and you tell me if it is real, as in someone genuinely said this in a meeting, or made up that I invented it or it's nonsense, right? So are you ready for it? Yeah. Okay. So first sentence is, we need to de-risk the risk. Is it real or is it made up?
It's kind of made up.
Okay. And why would you say that?
I mean, who wants to de-risk a risk kind of a thing? I mean, that's the thing.
Okay. So next sentence is, let's take this offline so we can align on the alignment.
This probably might be real, because there are a lot of communications that happens in a particular meeting which sometimes go a bit out of context. So that's how.
Something feels off about this one. Can't explain, just feels off. Real or made up?
Kind of made up, because probably he might not be understand, or he might have got it on the fly, this question, and he might not have any excuses for that.
The numbers look great which is actually what worries me.
I hope it's real.
Okay.
So that's
Okay. So the next set of question would be, have you ever sat in a meeting, smiled, nodded, and internally already knew this was the whole thing was going to land on your desk? मतलब घुमा फिरा के आपके पास ही आने वाला है.
many times.
Have you ever replied noted to an email and genuinely meant absolutely nothing by it?
Many times. So there are certain scenarios wherein you don't like to say no, but you sorry, don't like to say yes for a certain thing, but you will have to say yes. So that's how it goes.
That's a very clever way to say. Okay, so be honest. Is there a colleague type, not naming names, never naming names, who sends you a message that says, quick question, and you already know it is not going to be quick?
Yeah.
And how have you dealt with it? मतलब कैसा लगा आपको कि पता था?
नहीं ठीक है मीन्स बेसिकली दैट इज अ पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ see basically that's what experience teaches you, right? I mean it's not just it's not just professional side of the story, or not just knowledge base. These are certain skills that you need to develop. So even if it's quick, so how quick it has to be, so that is something up to me. And yes, definitely we will have to give certain excuses or answers to it, to just prolong that particular thing. So that's how it is.
Okay. So now we have a rapid fire round. So let's just see how well you can answer. Okay. So are you a morning person or a night owl?
One.
Okay. Rule book or gut?
Rule book.
Okay. Describe the face you make when someone says it's a low risk and you absolutely know it isn't. With your actual face, you can answer, demonstrate, or whatever. Okay. A colleague forwards you an email with zero context, just a screenshot and a question mark. Your first emotion.
क्या कर रहा है?
One thing that would make your job infinitely easier, and you can't say people reading the guidelines before asking me.
Hmm. These are tough questions, यार. Rapid fire है.
Not up then the risks.
तो some no, I pass.
Okay. We can finish the statement. The best risk managers are basically professional. Dot dot dot.
That will come on me only.
So वही चाहिए.
So they are professional. They are understanding. They are creative. They are. They actually see. True. And I
Why
have.
that accent?
नहीं, क्या करेगा मीन्स लोग तो समझते हैं अभी, फिर कुछ नहीं बोल सकता अभी, इसके आगे तो पॉडकास्ट है.
Be honest. Have you ever Googled something during a meeting so you could sound like you already knew it? And mind sharing? ऐसा क्या आपने ऐसे गूगल किया होगा मीटिंग में?
मैंने क्या किया था? मैंने तो PCI DSS किया था. आई एम बीइंग वेरी ऑनेस्ट, मैंने किया था.
Oh. Okay. PaySprint, one word.
So there are multiple products that are getting done. So in one word, it would be like orchestration of the products that we do. So that's how it is.
That's an intelligent answer. Okay. So how do you actually switch off? Like, what does Aditya not thinking about fraud look like?
Yeah, I'm a very fun going person यार. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, मीन्स चलता है. मुंबई में होता तो ज़्यादा होता हूँ. वैसा है बस.
Okay. And if your 23-year career had a Bollywood movie title, what would it be? I mean, you can take your time, सोच सकते हो आप. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Can be anything. If it had a title.
धुरंधर.
Good to know, sir. Okay. So the question would be, what is the one thing, not a tip, not a career hack, but the one real human thing that 23 years in the industry has taught you and that you could not have learned any faster?
So यार, so 23 years have it went by मजाक मजाक में बहुत जल्दी चले गए. But on a serious note, it's like it has taught me a lot to stay humble, uh, connect with people, speak to people, uh, you know, uh, uh, since my entire background have been operations, so a bit of discipline, so it be in my personal life or my personal professional life. So there are a lot of things in terms of these values that I have learned over a period of time, and that's how it is. I mean, keep learning. That's what I still feel. कि unless and until you are like retire हो गया तब तक, and even after that definitely there are a lot of things, but yeah, my mantra is to keep learning. Never think that अभी 24 साल हो गया types, because there are a lot of things to learn. um, Technology is changing a lot. AI आ गया, you have to learn that, so that's how it is here. So
So thank you so much, sir, for being on the podcast. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you, everybody who have watched the podcast till here. And we really appreciate your support. And we request you to like, comment, share, and subscribe this podcast. Thank you.